Hey Nintendo fans and collectors, this is Lithium017 bringing you my 34th collecting tip. This one's called Boxing and Packaging Variations. When you're collecting, you're going to come across different packaging for the exact same item. Now this could be games, this could be controllers, it could be consoles even. What I consider a different variation is actually a different color or something unique to the console that makes it different. If just the packaging's different, it's the same to me. So when I went about collecting all of the N64 controllers and consoles, I'm still missing a few controllers, but I have all the consoles. All I really worried about is the unique variations for the actual console. I don't really care about the boxed differences. But there are some things that you might want to note when you're actually collecting, and you might actually get into collecting the different variations for something. The previous few collecting tips I've been talking about games. The only thing I want to mention about games this time is there are different box variations for games, and sometimes all they say is like video game of the year. Would someone consider that a unique release if all it was that little sticker on it that's now actually part of what they sell for the game? I wouldn't. It's the same game. Just the same thing applies for me, for controllers, and for consoles. So when I'm collecting, this is the Midnight Blue or the Great Purple controller. This is the Japanese version, this is the Australian version, and this is the North American version. So obviously, different packaging, but it's all the same controller. So when I collect, I just consider that one different thing. And when you're collecting, you're going to want to make a decision about if you want to collect all the different variations or stick to a region and stay with it. So that's the majority of this tip is once you start collecting one thing, like these sealed controllers, you might want to stay with them, or the Australian or Japanese. Whatever you find that you really like. They work, the controllers for N64 and for GameCube work on any worldwide console, so it doesn't really matter what packaging you collect. You might want to be able to read it though, so you might want to get it from your own region. Same thing, this is the Spice Orange GameCube controller. This one's from Japan, this is Australia, and this is North America. And it's obviously sealed. Now the sealed ones I can't actually use, I'm going to keep them sealed. If you want to actually play them, obviously the box versions could work. But when you're looking at different packaging, you probably want to stick to the same set. For consoles, this is the North American release. Actually, this is the Canadian release, to be more specific. And this is the Japanese release. I think the Japanese box looks much cooler. Most of the Japanese boxes look really cool, so that's why I decided to eventually get them. The only reason why I got a lot of the N64 stuff from Japan was because that's the other main location where it was released, in my opinion, because that's where it originated from. So I thought to have everything where it's actually from is kind of cool. The packaging just looks awesome as well. So I'm not crazy about collecting different packaging, but sometimes there are cases where the item's really rare and it might increase the value. Something that a lot of people don't know that I do have videos about, these are the Mario controllers from Club Nintendo, and this is the different packaging for Japan and for Europe. So even some special items have very unique packaging that's nowhere close to one another, and that is the Mario controller that looks like that, if you were wondering. I do have videos about those, so I'll post the links above and below the video, I think, right now. But I wanted to get both of them because they are such rare items. So normally I would suggest just sticking to one set, but for really rare items, if you can find them and you have the money to buy them, you can feel free to do so. Variations for the controllers for N64 from North America. There are two different versions. There is one that has these characters, Killer Instinct, Bowser, Mario, and a Stormtrooper, but there's a second version that came out later, 2 years later I think. Banjo-Kazooie, Link, Mario, and Ken Griffey Jr. This one is from North America, and this one is from Europe. It's from England. I'm not really sure if there's any more difference than the colors are different, and then the characters are different on the side. I know Europe also had many of the controllers released with this sort of packaging. These ones are very rare. If you can find them, pick them up. I mentioned that in another video before, but they're really hard to find. I only have 2 of these kind yet. So that's why I'm trying to go for these ones as well, just because they're rare, just because it's cool, and it's something other people don't have, and because I've pretty much exhausted a lot of my N64 collecting. So the tip with different packaging is probably stick to one sort of set and just choose to collect for that for the rest of your collecting career until you have enough time or money to go into other ventures. Because once you have the item inside is the exact same. Box, packaging, shouldn't really matter. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Feel free to subscribe, guys and girls, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.